Right now, somewhere in the back of your mind, there's a conversation happening that will never exist in real life. You're rehearsing what you should have said 3 years ago. You're imagining a version of tonight that hasn't happened yet. You're living inside a scene so detailed, so emotionally vivid, that when you finally snap back to reality, you feel something strange, a mix of relief and loss. Because for a few seconds, the fake version of your life felt more real than the one you're actually living. And you probably think something is wrong with you. There isn't. But what's actually happening inside your brain is far more interesting than you realize. You're not just daydreaming, you're constructing entire alternate realities, full conversations with people who aren't there, victory speeches no one will hear, arguments you win perfectly every single time, romantic scenes with someone you've barely spoken to, disaster plans for things that will probably never happen. And here's what most people miss. These scenarios aren't random. They're not just your imagination running loose. They're signals. Your brain is trying to solve something it can't solve in the real world, and it's using the only lab it has, the space inside your head. There's a system in your brain called the default mode network. It activates the moment you stop focusing on the outside world. For most people, it wanders gently. But for some, it doesn't just wander, it builds. It constructs detailed emotional simulations of things that could happen, should happen, or might have happened. Psychologists call this counterfactual thinking. Your brain runs alternate versions of reality, not to punish you, but to learn, to rehearse, to prepare for what comes next. Think of your brain as a prediction machine. It's always asking, what happens next? What could go wrong? How should I respond? Every fake scenario is a mental rehearsal. Your mind is doing what a pilot does in a flight simulator, testing reactions, building confidence, scanning for danger. That part is healthy. That part is human. But here's where it gets complicated. Sometimes the simulation stops being practice and starts becoming a replacement. You rehearse the conversation so many times that you never actually have it. You imagine the success so vividly that the real effort starts to feel pointless. You replay the pain so often that you get stuck inside it. The tool that was supposed to prepare you quietly becomes a trap. And there's a deeper reason this happens: control. In your real life, you can't control how people respond to you. You can't predict what happens next. You can't rewind a moment and say the perfect thing. But inside the scenario, you're the director. You write every line. You win every argument. You're finally understood. And if you've spent most of your life feeling powerless, overlooked, or invisible, that feeling of control becomes addictive. The fake scenario becomes the one place where you finally matter. That's not weakness. That's your brain protecting you. But there's a cost. When you live in the scenarios too long, the line between imagination and reality starts to blur. You get angry at someone for something they only did in your head. You feel disappointed when real life doesn't match the version you scripted. And slowly, the gap between your inner world and your outer world stretches wider. So what do? Not fight it, not shame yourself. You learn to work with it. First, write the scenario down. Get it out of the loop. Psychologists call this expressive writing, and it works because it gives your brain the closure it was searching for. Second, ask yourself one honest question. Is this scenario preparing me or protecting me? If you rehearse it 100 times and never act, that's avoidance. Learn to tell the difference. Third, set a boundary. Give yourself 10 minutes inside the scenario. Then come back. Train your brain to treat imagination as a tool, not a home. You can visit, but you don't live there. And finally, ground yourself gently. Feel your feet on the floor. Notice one real thing in front of you. This pulls your brain out of simulation mode and reminds your nervous system, this is real, this body, this breath, this life. Your mind is a river. The scenarios are the current. You can't stop it from flowing, but you can sit on the bank, watch it pass, and choose to walk your own path. The scenarios were never meant to be the destination. They were rehearsals, simulations, not replacements. Your real life is still waiting. Messy, uncertain, beautifully unscripted. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough.